YouTube family, I'm back with the documentation that I said I would upload. It's been hard trying to get this stuff done because I do not have a computer. So, what I had to do was write down the chronological order of the events to show you how, when, and where they did what they did and what they are doing and who is involved. Um, this isn't just isolated to Los Angeles and the Superior Court. This is systematic and it extends all the way from the police department to the federal courts, as high as I know the Ninth Circuit. The chronological order and the documentation of the events to case number TA005544. According to the minute orders, this is what exists of them from the courts. Right? Put that up there so in case you guys want to go back and stop the video, you can see this for yourself. But in this document, on 3/26/1990, case filed with the Department of Justice TA005544. It was received on March the 28th. On March the 28th, 1990, I was arraigned in Compton Municipal Court along with Donald Dawson, who was made a co-defendant on the counts of attempted murder. He alone had a kidnapping and a robbery for the car that was used in that shooting that they say I was a part of. The attorney was Ted Yamamoto, and the judge was Stephen Suzukawa. On 5/9/1990, I appeared in Compton Municipal Court, an attorney named Robin Yanes read me a report informing me that I am being charged with 3 counts of attempted murder. The judge was Albert J. Garcia. The attorney was Robert Yanes, the one who was informing me this, and the victims were Henderson Glover, Bobby Taylor, and Joe King. Now, strangely enough, I looked up Robin Yanes, and I got a phone number to him. So I gave him a call and I asked him about this, and you'll be shocked at his response. Here it goes, just a second.
Hey, we're calling Robin Yanes, Trent Law. How may I help you?
Yeah, my name is Eddie Walker. Am I speaking to Robert Yanes?
Hi, Eddie. No, this is Mache.
Okay, I was represented by Robin Yanes in 1990 on a case TA005544. I think it's very important that I speak directly to Robert Yanes because this is a case that's going to possibly gain national notoriety because I was framed on that case. I did 25 years, and that case doesn't exist in the system. And right now, all the attorneys that represented me on that, he didn't go to trial with me, but he was the original attorney that read me the information that I was being charged with, and I need to ask him some questions.
Okay, one moment.
All right.
Now listen to this guy.
Hello, Robert Yanes?
Hello?
Yes, is this Robert? Yes, my name is Eddie Walker. You represented me in 1990 on a case TA005544. What happened was I was originally facing 3 counts of attempted murder, and I appeared at Compton Court, and you called me into a room, and you read me a police report stating that a guy who had a moniker similar to mine had committed 3 attempted murders. Well, to make a long story short, that case was never filed with the city, and I went to trial on my original offense, which was a mistrial, and those counts that you read to me, which were never filed with...
Wait. What was
Excuse me?
What was your original offense?
My original offense was...
What was your original offense?
My original offense was 3 counts of attempted murder, which took place on March the 26th, 1990. The case that you read the case that you read to me inside of the holding cell was a case that took place in December of 1989. Okay, in the minute order that I'm reading from the court, it was a miscellaneous filing that was passed off as occurring around the same time that I was arrested. Once I got to trial, it came out that case was a year older. Well, I was found guilty on those counts and had a mistrial on my original offense. 25 years later, when I went to the parole board, they didn't know why I was there. Those counts, even today, as I look for them, they do not exist. Now, I do know that you did not represent me. I will say that, and I'm not accusing you of any of that. There was an attorney named Ted Yamamoto who did receive that case, and all of the files are destroyed. There's nothing in Compton Court. There's nothing downtown on microfilm or anything. So as I'm reading the minute order, I said, okay, I see his name, Robert Yanes. I want to know if he still has that report, if he know where I can find it or anything, so that I can get some leads on this, because even though I was convicted of it, there is, to this date, no one has ever been arrested for that case that I did the time for.
Well, if I wasn't your lawyer, why was I reading you those reports?
That's the point. Like I say, I'm reading the minute orders to the case. You called me into the.
No, but I'm asking you. Why would it be me if I wasn't your lawyer?
You were my attorney originally, but they said that I wasn't qualified to receive, was it the district attorney? So I needed a private counsel. So they took me off of your case. I mean, they took you from me and gave me to another guy. I remember you. I'm gonna say this straight out. I wanted you as my attorney. You were fighting tooth and nail for me when they took you off of my case. But what I'm saying is, I don't know how the police report that you read to me in the attorney room ended up being on the docket when it was never filed with the city, and to this date they have no recollection of it.
Okay, I have no idea, but I'm telling you this, I wouldn't have that report, because if I was taken off the case and replaced by Ted Yamamoto, everything would have gone to him. I wouldn't even have that. That would have gone to him.
Yeah. See, now here's the thing, and like I say, I'm not accusing you of anything. If anything, I had a lot of respect for you because I did want you as my attorney. The thing is that Ted Yamamoto, once I got out of prison, I called him asking him the same thing that I'm asking you. And do you know that the next day his phone was no longer in order and he's no longer listed on the attorney's log on the net?
But he's dead.
He's dead?
He's dead. Yeah.
Wow.
Ted Yamamoto died about 10 years ago.
No, he didn't.
Wow. I did not know that. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I think it was about 10 years ago.
Oh, man. So I know you probably have nothing to do with this, but just out of courtesy, I would ask you, what could I do to possibly uncover this? Because, like I say, I did all of this time, and I got all the way to the parole board, and they started reading off the mistrial case, and I told them that I had a mistrial under that case number, and so they asked me, well, why are you here? And I'm like, you don't know? And so I filed to the court to try to get a discovery motion because there's no evidence.
You know what, sir? I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. I have no idea. I have no idea what happened to your case. Ted Yamamoto handled it. I just wouldn't have a clue as to what to tell you. None of that makes any sense at all. At all. None of it makes any sense at all.
It doesn't. But like I said, it doesn't. But I did the time.
I don't know what you can. Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you about in terms from my point of view. There's nothing I can do. I had nothing to do with the case. Mr. Yamamoto did. And if the court has already destroyed all the documents, then I don't know where you would get them. Maybe you could contact the lawyer who did your appeal.
I did, and the same thing. His hands was burning.
What do you mean?
He didn't want to have anything to do with it. It's because, to make a long story short, the last person that looked at this before I was paroled was the lady named Kamala Harris, and she knew that it was a mistrial. but she was going for vice president. So now when I bring this
Well,
up,
sir, I'm sorry. I can't help you, buddy. I'm sorry. I have nothing. I have no idea what's going on here.
all right, thank you very much.
And I wouldn't know what to say. Yeah.
All right.
Ain't that something? Well, anyway, as you saw on the minutes order, he was the one who did that. Next up on the minutes order was the date of 7/10/1990. Now, there's an asterisk on my paperwork between these two dates because this is something that I didn't realize in the last video. On 7/10/90, the LAPD and the LA District Attorney filed a miscellaneous document with the Compton Superior Court of 2 counts of attempted murder. The filing was the same counts listed under the 5/9/1990 that I was represented by Yanes. So the minute orders are not lying, or the court dates are not lying. He filed these miscellaneous counts on 7/10/90, but I was already making court appearances back in May. So it doesn't make any sense to Robert Yanes because he knows that he was only part of the scheme. It would also be noted that all records and court minute orders were altered and destroyed afterwards. There is nothing else in the minute orders that relates to the court proceedings, meaning you don't know if there was a pretrial, trial, what the disposition was, none of that. It's all of the minute orders were destroyed, and what you see here is where someone tried to make a concise listing of what was on the minute orders. But once you get to where this miscellaneous filing is, look what happens. That's the end of that. Everything else goes to appellate issues that were being sent in that the court stenographer wrote down. Even these court documents show that they were tampering with all of the procedures because they weren't making any sense. It was too sloppy. On January 16th, 1992, that's where the minutes pick up after that. On this paper, you'll see, according to my Department of Justice printout here, that District Attorney Linda Ann Bushling files 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, kidnapping a child under 14 years old, robbery and attempted murder, and documentation with the Superior Court, with Compton Superior Court. Disposition dismissed. The fact is, like I told you, I was never charged with any of that stuff. I never even went into a courtroom and they said, you're here for that. For her to be able to just go and file these, and they end up with the Department of Justice on my record, even though there's no documentation in this that I was being charged with that, arraigned for that, or anything, that she was able to do that. And it's not going to be shocking what happened to her, but what's going to be shocking is what they did when they did that to her and how it affected me and Bobby. I noted in this Department of Justice paperwork that they listed several asterisks next to some of the things that they have in here. As I said in my last video, I'm not going to shy away from you. I used to belong to a gang, and when I was in that gang, I was committing criminal acts. In 1986, on this paper from the Department of Justice, they have it down as assault with a firearm on a person in 1986. 1987, possession of narcotic for sale. 1989, I applied for a permit of a guard card. That has to be filed with the Department of Justice. 1990, assault with a firearm on a person, 2 counts. That was supposed to be 3 counts. See, Linda Bushling didn't even put that into the system right. This was case number TA005544. The victims in that were Dennis Moore, Larry Moore, and a lady named Evangeline Flores. That was that case number. Okay, on the Department of Justice, next it had the kidnapping, and then it says disposition dismissed. Was never charged with it. So I have to write them back and let them know that there has to be a correction with that. The same issue with robbery, it says dismissed. Attempted murder, it says convicted. Another one, attempted murder, convicted. Next to it is an asterisk. If you look right here, right, you can get that in there. It says case number TA005544. She slid that in there under that number. These were never filed, so they didn't have a case number. Same down here, the other one. So all of these, if you look right next to them, they got the little asterisk. See the little asterisk right there? Can you get that on there? It says the entries provided below are based upon, it says, an arrest or court disposition report. It was actually the court disposition report that they doctored. The subject of the entry has been identified with the record based upon soft criteria consistent of a name or number match. Positive identification has not been made because fingerprints were not received for the entries. Down here at the bottom, you also says no arrest made. When were those entries entered in? We're going to see right here on the bottom. Well after, where is that? 1992. I was going to the pen already. So what she did, she filed false documentation to the Department of Justice. She filed false documentation to the Department of Corrections, and several other proceedings happened. And I don't want to make this video too long, but to make a long story short, I ended up hiring an attorney after my state proceedings. The state proceedings were so rigged, and I didn't figure it out till much later exactly what they did. The justices of the appellate courts are put in position by players using the scheme. So once a conviction is made, they send it up to somebody else who's going to affirm the conviction, and the attorney that represents them are going to file very weak arguments on frivolous things that they know are going to be dismissed, because once you get to the federal court, you don't get an attorney. You have to be your own attorney. And after the Anti-Terrorism Effective Death Penalty Act, you only had 1 year to master the rules of the court and how to file petitions, just like a lawyer would, so that the court would even accept it. So it's all stacked against you. So I had an attorney who filed a motion for appealability after they had denied the motion. Once it got to the federal court, they didn't have no record now. The only thing that they can operate on was the appellate briefs, and they only use segments for arguments out of the entire bulk of the transcripts that you get. So after that, basically you can't even argue anything inside of that big bulk of transcripts, because now they're saying that you had to pick all your arguments and put them in your petition and get it into the federal court by 1 year, or they're basically barred. But they also wouldn't have the transcript anyway. Only thing they would have is the briefs. So the briefs become the substitute for the main record. Excuse me. So the federal judge, he denied it. Whether he knew it or not, afterwards he left the bench. He knew that those counts didn't exist. And when my attorney filed for that motion for appealability, the next court followed up on his opinion and accepted it. I went through the LAPD scandal after that. Chief Bernard Parks. Let me get to this because I'm going off the head and I didn't want to go there. In 7/26/1995, a filed petition for writ of habeas corpus to the United States District Court, Central District of California. The court has no record outside of what was summarized into the appellate briefs. Remember, TA 005544 has only a dummy file. 2/17/1998, I filed an appeal of the magistrate's denial recommendation. That appeal was also denied with prejudice. Copies of this order was mailed to me, to the Attorney General, and the presiding judge of the Superior Court. In the court's explanation, the undocumented crimes were repeated repeated and treated as fact, also revealing the source of the information and a footnote stating that the information charged was 6 counts. They never referred to an arrest. They never referred to a police report or anything like that. They said that the information is the documented paperwork that was concocted by the police officer that was shared with the district attorney, who in collusion with the court in Compton issued warrants without filing to the Department of Justice. And what they do, because these attorneys are so in bed with